Alright, so what we want to talk about now is we want to talk about another modify tool. The tool is called offset. And offset is the last one on the last column at the very bottom. Offset is a command that makes a copy, but what's nice about it is it lets you decide how far away from the original you'd like the copy to be. So here's an example. We're going to offset the lines of this square by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to click on offset, and then notice it's asking me down the bottom to specify the offset distance. So type in 0.5, 1/2 inch, or if you like fractions, type in 1/2. That works also, okay? And then select the object you'd like to offset. So I'd like to offset the top line. And now notice when I move my cursor up, it's putting the copy above. When I move my cursor below, it's putting the copy below. And it won't execute or complete the command until I click, left click. Alright, and now look, we're still in the offset command. You can see that my cursor is still a little pick box, so that means I can go to my next line. And I can offset out or in, and I'll go in. I can offset out or in, and I'll go in. Offset out or in, and I'll go in. Okay, what I just did is I had a rectangle made with 4 lines, and now I've made it into another rectangle that's a 1/2 inch away on each edge. So if we've got nested shapes, this would be a way to create these copied lines. Okay, now the only bad thing about the offset command is if I wanted to have these rectangles as separate, I'd have to go in and start trimming. And depending on how many times you offset, how many rectangles you want, how many 1/2 inch spaces that we need, this could be a lot of trimming. Right? I mean, it's nice that it trims for you and you don't have to bust out the pink pearl eraser. But the fact is, man, that's a lot of clicking to go in there and trim that stuff up. So you can play with that for a minute or two and then decide to yourself, this is tedious. There must be a better way. And I'm going to give you a little clue. Anytime something is tedious in AutoCAD and you're thinking there must be a better way, there's a better way. Okay? So this was tedious because this was drawn with lines. And when you offset one line, it only offset that line. It didn't offset the other edges. Take a look at this bad boy. See, this is a polyline, right? So I'm going to click back on offset. And notice that it remembers the 1/2 inch. And it says, what do you want to offset? So I'll hit enter for about 1/2 inch. And I will pick the rectangle. And now look what's happening. See, I can offset out or in, and do you see how it cleans up the corners and it's all pretty and doesn't require additional trimming. So if you're wondering why are there lines and polylines, well, this is why, because sometimes it makes sense to draw with lines, but other times it makes a lot more sense to draw with a polyline. Okay, so the polyline, the whole thing gets offset in one shot. We'll go to the circle here and we'll make some 1/4 inch offsets. So offset, distance, either 0.25, enter, or 1/4 if you'd like to type in fractions. Common fractions work too. Right? We'll click and we'll go out and click and go out and click and go out. So here we have a bunch of concentric circles being created exactly 1/4 inch in radius larger as they go out further and further. And if we go inward, well, we can keep going inward too until we get to a circle that's so small that it can't possibly make another offset. And that's it. Can't go smaller than that one. Right? And we could also offset splines. We could do lines, arcs, circles. No reason why we can't do a spline. So 3/32 for our distance, 3/32. And I'll click on this guy, and there's my, maybe it's a road, right? Maybe I wanted to create some geometry, and the spline represents a road, or a river, or a bike path, right? And I can make some offsets so that I have a bunch of parallel lines for that original arc. Okay, so this is how the offset command works. So if we take a quick look, we have worked with a couple of the modified tools. We've worked with erase, of course. We've worked with trim. We've worked with offset. And we've worked with line and polyline. We've worked with circle, two kinds of circles, center radius and center diameter. And we have worked with rectangle, polygon. All right, so you've got a pretty good little toolkit going in AutoCAD. And what we'd like to do now is we'd like to give you an assignment to work on.